Yes, it is a little early today because, as you can see, we are loaded with wonderful guests and friends and lots of activities. So, welcome Rotarians and guests to the March 21st meeting of the Las Vegas Rotary Club. My name is Toni Kern, and I'm honored and proud to be your 101st president of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. At this time, I would like to ask that Vera Dolan and Sidra Kane please come forward for the invocation and song. Okay, you don't use the step stool. And there you go, Vera.
Hi, everybody. Today's invocation will be the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, the prayer for peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Vera. Stay here, stay here. Come up here. Oh, pause and smile. Yeah, I got to do another one. You know I was doing something stupid. That's actually very good. Yeah, I know. I can understand what you're going to use it for. Sidra, you would lead us in song?
Yes.
I already know this is going to happen.
Do I need to pause?
Not yet.
Okay, today we're going to do America the Beautiful, because we really do live in a beautiful country, a lot of beautiful people, so. Wait a minute, is that My Country 'Tis of Thee? Or, I think I've got the wrong one. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I think we got the right one.
You got it. Beautiful job. Don't go away. Wait. Oh. We're all doing that. And if you would please join Vera, Sidra, and I in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all, and you may be seated. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Pally. I know it's early, but you might as well have it early. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone. Oh, thank you so much. To thank everyone who helped put this meeting together today, because it does take lots of hands. And for that, I would like to announce and thank for setup Dr. Kathy Mahan and Bob Werner, our greeters, Larry Goldstein, Lynn Ng, and John Seibel, our newest member. Our guest table greeter was Nikki Junium. Ticket sales, Bob Pizer and Jason Frederico. Our photographer today is Tina Bishop. Scribe will be again Andrew Thurlow. Thank you, Andrew. Our AV team, ever dedicated, Stu Lipoff and David Jones. Teardown, Don Holland and Michael Williams. And our one and only Sergeant-at-Arms, Mr. John Pally. So thank you to all of you. Woo! Okay, let's do the international guest today. We have one. It's still Murray. He hasn't changed.
We do have, actually he just came back from Toronto, so we're glad to have him today, and he had a good time.
I didn't stay very long. There's 2 feet of snow. So got my butt back here.
Thank you.
He just loves Vegas.
Thank
Of
you.
course he loves Vegas.
And
all
we
do.
happen to have some visiting Rotarians here with us today, 2 for sure I know from the Summerlin Club. If there are
Right.
any others,
Right back here we have a visiting Rotarian.
okay.
Hey everybody, Summerlin Rotary Club. I'm Michael Holden. I'm the community service chair of the club.
Summerlin Rotary Club, Brett McEnany. I work with United Way of Southern Nevada, and it's an honor to be here and see your club. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And I think we have another member, visiting Rotarian, right dead center.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charlie Frere. I'm a member of the Portland, Maine Rotary Club. And you guys, we're about the same size as you, but you already have better attendance than we do. So great to be here.
Thank you. Nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
It's probably a little warmer here. I'm just guessing.
Just guessing. Oh, you've got. Am I supposed to do something? Oh, I keep going. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Do we have guests of Rotarians? Keep your hands up if you do. Start one end or down the other.
I would like to introduce one of my oldest friends and fraternity brothers, Rich Patotsky. He is in from Miami. He is in the business of protecting people that are getting ready to go to jail for beating the government programs over the next few years. And when it comes time for the lottery or drawing here later today, I suggest you come and rub Rich's head because he once won $1 million on a scratch-off.
Welcome, Rich. I can't picture you as a fraternity boy, though. Brian, I don't know. Other guests of Rotarians? Guests of Rotarians. Okay, then I'm going to go down into the audience and introduce my guests. I have 4 of them, 2 married couples, one from here and one from Lake Havasu. I'd like to introduce retired police chief from Southgate, Doug Christ, his wife, Bobby Christ, dear friend Linda Troxel, and another retired police chief from Southgate, George Troxel. And they're going to be doing, not running, but driving, doing the Baker to Vegas that Karen does. So that's why they're here. Any other guests of Rotarians? Okay. We have no guests of the club, as I am told. So that leaves us with my guests at the head table. I'd like to introduce our, don't stand up, you're too tall. When I'm standing next to you, see, it's like if I did this, I'm almost your height. Our speaker today is Sean Scruggs. Susan Ziobro, I'm going to do this later, hang on. Susan Ziobro and Nancy Anderson. Thank you. Can we have a round of applause welcoming all of our guests? I got it. That was a little less than delicate. All right, now, John, for all of our announcements. Let's start with past President Karen Wisenhunt for a recap of the Cigar Social.
Boy, did we luck out, and it's a good thing we changed it from Friday night to Saturday night because it was pouring down rain all day on Friday. It cleared off by noon on Saturday. Fantastic event. We had 55 to...
Did you want it? No, not right now. Well,
55 to 60 people at Tom and Jane's new home with their $2 million view. And I'm happy to report that we had about 60 cigars that we'll be donating to the troops. And we made about $1,500 for the foundation. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Karen.
is Melanie there?
Okay, can we get, what's going on that's all this feedback stuff? Is it me?
No, it's on Zoom.
Okay, somebody needs to cut whatever we're doing, please. It's annoying. I don't care. Pull a plug. Just pull a plug. Any plug. Thank you. Okie dokie. For those of you that are aware, we are having a fundraiser going on. It's been going on for a couple weeks. The money from this fundraiser goes to your President-elect, Kirk. Now I'm going out of it. Okay. Whatever. Okay. It goes to Kirk Alexander's budget for next year. If you haven't checked with your team captain, please reach out to your team captain, find out how it works, get signed on, send out emails, put it on Facebook so we can raise money for Kirk. So he can do it for his APF, his programs. Rosalie Hedrick, if you would go there for the VIP tour, please, John. She's that away at the reserve table for special guests.
Hi, Hi, everyone. So just another reminder that we are doing a tour, corporate tour at Opportunity Village. It's going to be March 26th at 3:30 to 4:30, and then from there we're going to go across the street to have happy hour at Taps and Barrels. And so if you want to participate in that, you're welcome. If not, that's fine too. We will meet at Thomas and Mack building in the front desk area. Tour is 90 minutes. We will be touring Betty's Village, the facility, and the boutique. So the cost to do so is $25. That money goes to our foundation, and you can sign up in the Green Book. So hope we have a great turnout.
Thank you, Rosalie. Couple of quick, well, let me go through this. John, can you go to Kimberly McMahon, please? Kimberly, where'd you go? There she is.
Good afternoon. April 4th through 7th, we are having a Las Vegas weekend for all of the exchange students in our ScanX area. So far, I have 17 students coming into town, so I am looking for host families that weekend. It's the 4th through the 7th. If anybody can open their home for 2 nights, for 1 to 4 students, that would be awesome. And mainly, we need you to also transport them to the event and then pick them up at the end of the day's events. If anybody's interested or knows somebody who is, please contact me. Thank you. They're 15 to 18-year-olds from all different countries of the world.
And John, I've been reminded that I forgot the biggest table here, and that is our education committee. We have 3 schools and their representatives here. If they could go around and get them introduced, please. My apologies.
Thank you, President Tony, and good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. I'm delighted to introduce 2 heroes from Hollingsworth. We have Principal Staka and we have Assistant Principal Julie joining us today.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm going to let the visitors from Bracken introduce themselves, and we may have some exciting news from Bracken shortly.
Hi, my name is Michelle Wright, and I am the assistant principal at Bracken, and I just want to share some good news about our school. It's with your partnership. I'm proud to announce that we are in the top running to be the top school in the nation according to the Magnet Schools of Excellence. So I'm excited to share that news. And I also want to introduce our wonderful resource teacher, Mrs. Cecilia Pacteron.
Oh my goodness, how do I follow that? Hi, I'm Rigel Painter, the principal over at Walter Long Elementary School. I want to thank you. We just received our large pallet of hydroponics, so when we get back to school, we're going to be taking it apart. We're going to be doing the inventory with our SBT, Ricky Nelson here. Thank you for having us.
And I'm Stacey Sadie. I'm the principal at Hollingsworth. Julie is my new AP. I've been without an AP since June, so it's super exciting to have her with me. And I just want to invite you to our field day. I know Barbara and Stu both came last year, but if you'd love to donate some time and play games with kids, it is on April 25th, and it lasts all day, so you can come just for a short time if you'd like to. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you take the microphone, please, to Debbie Howard for the Breakfast with Books, please?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. It is that time of year for Breakfast with Books, April 9th at Beckley Elementary. We start around 7 a.m. In conjunction with Spread the Word Nevada. We would love to see you all there. Please sign up in the Green Book or on the virtual sign up.
It's the last one of this academic year, isn't it? So make sure you're there for the finale. Can you take the microphone, please, to Antoinette for the Wine to Water?
Hello, everyone. We will be hosting Wine to Water at my home April 13th. It's a Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. It's going to be a great time. Tickets are $30 a piece. All of the proceeds go to charitywater.org to help developing nations provide clean water. We're going to have lots of raffle prizes. We have show tickets. We have rounds of golf up for the raffle. We have a really neat electronic cellist that's going to come out and play for us, a DJ, lots of food, lots of wine. It's going to be a great time. If you have any donations that you'd like to provide, let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you there. Sign up in the Green Book, April 13th, Saturday, 6 to 9.
Thank you. John, if you could just turn to Susan Ziabro. Can you take a break? She's going to tell us about the
Chew faster.
Okay, do you want to go to somebody else?
No, she's ready.
You ready? Okay.
If we go back and forth one or two more times, then she'll be ready.
Okay. Should you think? Okay. Four-way speech regional. If you'll tell us about that, please.
The four-way speech regional contest is coming up. It's April 13th. Sean will have details in her Monday announcement. We have a contestant. If she wins at this level, she will go on to the next level, and we will be hearing that at district assembly. I will not personally be able to be there. If any of you can, let me know and help represent our club when she competes on the 13th. Thank you.
It is on a Saturday. And I misspoke. It's an area competition. From area, they go to regional. And it'd be nice if we do show support and have a nice group there. I believe it's Summerlin Club is putting that together. Greg Thompson is. So yay. Thank you. Now back to David Jones. So he can tell us about now it's the regional Dan Stover.
So the Dan Stover music competition will be 4 weeks from Monday. I think the Southwest Club is in this room. So the Southwest Rotary Club will be hosting the area/regional music competition. So as soon as our contestant wins, that's hopeful thinking, as soon as our contestant wins, or the other one, then they will go on to the district assembly competition, the final competition. You are all invited in 4 weeks to attend the Southwest Rotary Club lunch, which will be on Monday, $30 because you'll be a guest. So you're welcome. Next week or the week after, we'll have a sign up. So if those of you that want to attend and cheer on our competitor, please sign up in the Green Book next week. But just wanted to give you a heads up, 4 weeks from Monday.
And we'll keep making that announcement. It would be nice if we show some support because there are only 2 competitors and we want to show them support so they're not playing their instrument to a half-empty room. All right, Don Holland, all the way on the other side. Wetzel, please.
We are coming up to the next quarter Wetzel Awards at Nellis Air Force Base on April 11. You can sign up in the Green Book or online, and we honor 5 outstanding airmen selected by their wing commanders. And it's really an opportunity to give some attention and some kudos to the unsung backbone of the Air Force. So we're going to be meeting in the parking lot right outside the main gate at 2:30, and then they'll send a bus out, and then the ceremony begins at 3. So it's usually pretty quick. It's about 30 minutes or so. So if you can make it, please sign up. Thank you.
And that will be also the last one for this Rotary year. So if you can make that, it would be nice to have a great turnout for all of these finals of this year. Now it's me with a couple of things. Number 1, the highway cleanup, April 6th. We meet across from the Bonnie Springs entrance, split up, half go one way, half go another way. It's about 1.5 miles or a mile each way, after which we have brunch at Jerry Senes's house. If you have not yet participated in that, it's not a hard walk, and people have been pretty clean along there, so we haven't had a lot of trash to pick up. But it is fun, so sign up for that. That's in the Green Book. It can be done on virtual as well. We also have our Green Our Planet Student Farmers Market that is set for April 19th. We do have a number of people that have already signed up. We can still use more. It's forced setup. It will be at downtown Summerlin on the grassy area. It's a great opportunity. There will be 60 buses of kids. There will be at least 600 children selling the crops they've grown either in their raised beds or hydroponically, as well as their crafts. It's a great opportunity. It's an awful lot of fun. Starts about 7 o'clock in the morning. You can be done by 9 o'clock because that's when the buses come. And if you want to stay on and buy and shop, go ahead, but otherwise you're done. We also have coming up Touch a Truck, April 6th. That's put on by the Family to Family organization. We do have 4 different shifts that you can sign up for. We have had a number of people signing up. That also will be at downtown Summerlin on the grass. There's going to be big trucks, and I'm not sure if it's the adults are more excited about it than others because you get to climb on them. So do sign up for that as well. There's a teaser with no information in the Green Book, but there are sign-up sheets, but I will give you the teaser right now. There are 2 amazing opportunities for us to do some volunteer work at the Smith Center, both of which are part of the Centennial Project that we paid and dedicated and donated to the Smith Center. The first one is an event on April 9th. There's a limited number of people. It would be helping to check in at the theater, and if you want to stay and watch the event, it's the Tau Drum. You can stay and watch the event. There's also on May 2nd. This one is another event which is pretty amazing. Actors and actresses, or actors in general, are competing, and they will be putting on a performance. That is one of the things for which we have donated, or our funds went toward a scholarship. The actor and actress that win from there go on to New York. So there's some good opportunities to participate and also to see where your money went for the Centennial Project. Now, at this time, I would like to invite Director Mike Kudemont, along with Nancy Anderson and John Pally, to come forward for a presentation.
Today is our monthly Paul Harris presentation. For our visitors, Paul Harris Fellow is a highest recognition for Rotary members who have donated substantial amount to the cost of the Rotary Foundations. These funds, worldwide activities that we do, including food, water sanitation, and medical help. So today, here with us, our great Rotarians, Jan Pally and Nancy Anderson, they're on their way to they are past Paul Harris. They're already Paul Harris +4, and both of them are 4. So they're in the march to the major donor level of Paul Harris. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's recognize Jan Pally and Nancy Anderson, Paul Harris +4. Congratulations. Congratulations, Nancy. And we have to take a picture. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. I might even be able to slip in. Yep, I'm going to be able to slip in some fellowship time. John, I'm always thinking of you. Ladies and gentlemen, big times right now. Big raffle, big pot. Get your tickets out. Line them up in numerical order. I'll give you a few moments to line them up from little to big, and then I'm going to read the numbers. Okay, are we ready? Let's get organized. Okay. If you come up, we'll take your picture. All right, so today, ladies and gentlemen, friends and guests, the pot contains $13,417 plus today's amount, and there was a boatload of tickets sold today. So let's see if we can get someone who's got good luck. Last 4 digits for the raffle prize. 5360. 5360. 5360. Somebody's got it. Rich, it isn't you, huh? Karen, is it you? Yay! What that means is she gets $50. I only have 10, so that means I need to ask my banker more money. Karen, we have an IOU. You get this, and you'll get more. Did you get the picture of her? I did. Okay. All right, now, we still have left Lowry's Bucks. Barbara, you ready? Barbara keeps winning, but she's not won the last couple meetings, so let's give it a shot. Okay, wait a minute. Glasses on. No mistakes. All right, last 4 digits. 6541. 6541. 6541. 6541. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Six, 5, 4, 1. Looks like we're going to have to pick another card, a ticket. 6, 5, 4, 1. No one's claiming it. Well, next we're going to do the auction, but so we've got to do, Sean, you get to pick up another. Now we're going next ticket, but we had to have our speaker. All right, here we go. 5593. 55. Oops, wait a minute, you gave me 2. You can take that other one back. I read the top one. 5593. Janice? Lunch at Lowry's. Woohoo! P-P-E-E-E-E-E. There you go. Oh, Janice. Picture. Oh. Okay, now, Annie Nuna has been gracious enough to grace us with a gift for an auction, and past President Russ Swain, who just put something in his mouth, bless his heart, he's agreed to be our auctioneer since he did a bang-up job. Annie, foundation, the APF fund, or the endowment? To stay and not touch, or for the programs? Okay, let's put it in the endowment. This is for the foundation endowment. I don't know what that is.
Well, could I stand on your little pedestal here? Whoa, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's past President Russ Swain here. They seem to think they like when I raise some money, and so, you know, we've got another great package this week. Yeah. Come on, Tony, President Tony is going to go and, walk that around and show everybody. What is it again?
Tower of Treats. It's goodies.
Tower of Treats. So it's a bunch of goodies. And Annie donated this, and she wants to start the bidding off at $50. So that sounds like a great deal to raise some money for Rotary. Who wants to go $50? I don't know who. Susan, do we got somebody? Hey, there's Sean back. He likes treats, right? Who else wants to outbid Sean? We have $50 now. The $50, does anybody want to give $75, huh? Is that okay with you? She just went up to $75. We're at $75 right now. Who wants to give $100 for these wonderful treats? And you got to remember, oh, hey, somebody just raised their hand, Bob. When you stick up your hand like that, you just went up to 100. And I don't know if you were trying to tell me something or if you just bid Did you use a bid? Thank you for your bid. We have 100 now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. $1.25, right on. Are you a visitor? Thank you. Ah, man, who wants to beat the visitor? Anybody? 125 now. 125. I'm looking around the room. Jim Cole, way in the back. You know, you didn't look like you were really participating in this auction here. Okay, well, we're at 125 now. Sean, 125? Who just said that? Mike, all right. Mike, 130, man. Okay, social work day, 130 now. Does anybody want to give 200? He's going to go. He thinks we're going to get it over with at 200. Does anybody think that that's going to happen at 200? I'd be grateful to take his $200 right now, but we might have somebody that doesn't think that it's over yet. Right? I don't know. Oh, I thought I saw a hand. No, was that Gary Voss? No, he's eating. Anybody else? Hey, we got 200 now. I know she wants me to get this over with. 200 now, going once, going twice. Sold to our fabulous guest for $200. Thank you for raising that, and thanks for letting me be of service.
Thank you, Past President Russ. Thank you, Annie. I do appreciate that. So now we get some fellowship time and I get to breathe. Enjoy. Thank you. Just want to remind you, this is for Arlene. Your ticket stubs, your wheels, if you choose not to take them home, there is a recycle bin. Do not leave them on the table. Please put them in the recycle bin. So I've done my assignment. And second, if I didn't do this, you guys will be disappointed. Where is the green book? Okay, got to have it moving this way. There's lots of stuff. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Susan Ziobro, who will introduce our speaker for today.
Thank you, President Tony. Hello, fellow Rotarians and most welcome guests. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker today. His name is Sean Scruggs. I've known Sean for at least 10 years. Sean is the Tribal Historical Preservation Officer for the Fort Independence Indian Community of Paiutes at Fort Independence, California. Fellow Nevadans, that's across Death Valley from us. He lived on his reservation for 10 years and joined the Air Force in 1989. He served 14 years as an aircraft structural maintenance repair technician, and at the rank of Master Sergeant earned a commission through the Officer Training School and became Aircraft Maintenance Officer. He served in Afghanistan in 2003 and Iraq in 2007 and was medically retired in 2008 as a captain. Importantly, Sean is culturally affiliated with the lands in Nevada, and he'll make you more aware of that. Sean became part of the Consolidated Groups and Tribes organization to help leaders co-manage the lands at Nellis Air Force Base and the Mercury Test Site. He was appointed as his tribe's Historical Preservation Officer in 2018. Sean seeks to be an exceptional person. He is one of the most organized and detail-oriented people I have had the pleasure to work with. And it's understandable why he excelled at his military career and excels in this position as a Tribal Historical Preservation Officer. As a member of Las Vegas Toastmasters, I can vouch that Sean was the first, last, and only distinguished Toastmaster in the Las Vegas Toastmasters Club. He has 4 college degrees with a master's in organizational management. Sean has another passion. He runs. And at the end of this year, he will have completed 5 of the 6 world major marathons, including Boston, New York, and Berlin. For the runners out there in the room, his personal best is 2 hours and 56 minutes. He's not slow. Sean seeks to become the most culturally knowledgeable person in his tribe, from the totality of assimilation to the highest levels of knowledge and cultural practice. Today, he will provide a brief history of his tribe, the scope of service that he provides for his community, and about the ways that Native Americans, or the First Peoples, need to be approached across all aspects of today. Please join me in welcoming Sean Scruggs. Do you want this in the holders?
Manahu, everybody. Sean Nu Naninane, Nu Chucky Shabe Weta. That's greetings, friends. My name is Sean Scruggs. Okay, okay. And I am Chucky Shabe Weta, which is our traditional name for our tribe, Fort Independence Indian Community of Paiutes. Fort Independence was given to us as a reminder of the occupation by the cavalry, which set up Camp Independence on July 4th, 1862. Oh, sorry.
That's all right, because those people back there want to hear you.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay,
Better.
got
There
it.
you go.
Okay. Before I begin or go any further, I would like to provide a land acknowledgement for the local tribes. You are on the unceded land of the Moapa, Las Vegas Paiute tribe, and the Pahrump tribe. And I say that for the unceded because of a lot of the controversy regarding, the forced removal and the other activities that have led to assimilation and the appearance that they're not on the land. But I assure you, this is their place of creation. They've been here since the beginning of time, and they will always be here. So please keep that in mind. Thank you. Although I'm not privileged to speak on their particular culture, and I work with them regularly, that is their right and privilege. I am an authority at this point and privileged to speak about my particular culture and tribe. I looked at the mission statement today and was trying to translate my mission statement or my mission in life to that of this club. And I see that teaching youth to succeed through literacy, education, and life skills development, that actually currently applies so much as to myself, because in my culture, I'm actually considered a youth. As at 52, I'm a youngster. So I'm teaching my current age group and a little bit younger and helping them learn about our culture. What I'd really like to do is move through my presentation briefly or quickly so that I can get to questions and answers. So again, at the end, you'll see that any question asked respectfully, please feel free. If I feel like I can't field that question for any reason or that it's too political in nature, then we can move on to something else. Am I not advancing it correctly? Oh, okay. Sorry, next. Yep. And then, so that's the spelling of our traditional name, Chukishabe-Weta. It's for Oak Creek people. And we go to the next slide. I can kind of give you next slide, please. Okay, got it. Okay. Geographically, you're looking at Eastern California. The yellow circle is what we call Payahanadu, the land of flowing water. That's the Owens Valley, for anybody who's been familiar with that area in the Eastern Sierra. Very beautiful. Welcome to my land. We're in between Reno and Los Angeles, and another important landmark is Manzanar. That was actually where my great-great-grandfather was born in 1864 and was raised there through his life and ended up at the Fort Independence. Overview on how my tribal government works. So we have a tribal chairman, vice chairwoman. They're actually brother and sister. It's kind of funny because they actually work really well together, but people wouldn't know it, so it's very careful when people approach them to make sure they don't say bad words about each other. We also have a secretary, and then I'm fourth in line. I don't have really any authority. I don't speak for my tribe or their official position, but I do speak on cultural matters, and I'm a representative of our tribe in that capacity. We have a general counsel. To be on the general counsel or a member of our tribe, you need to be over the age of 21. You need to be lineal descent and blood quantum minimum 1/16. Currently, there's 90 people living on surviving. Our tribal roll, as people pass away, their number is retired. My father just passed in September, so he was number 68 on the tribal roll. He passed, and I'm number 69. And when I pass, my number will be retired, and that'll be it. I have two daughters. They are the last of my line. So if they don't marry somebody with a particular blood quantum, then that will be the end of the line for my tribe or for my family on the lineal descent. And again, it requires blood quantum and lineal descent, which is proof through death certificates, because we primarily don't have birth certificates for our first generations of people. So then it's basically death certificates is the only way that we can trace back. And so then I go to great-great-grandmother Jenny Robinson is who I trace my lineal descent, as she was among the first recognized as members from our tribe when they had to register for the California Indian Census, which was conducted in 1928. Also, incidentally, does anybody know when Native Americans were considered citizens? Nobody, okay. 1924 is when Native Americans were granted citizenship. So that makes my dad first generation American and me second, although that we've been in our valley since the beginning of time. So please keep that in mind as well. There's a great book, American Genocide, talks about the genocide in California. Chapter 5 and 6 thoroughly discusses the conclusions to how Native Americans were not going to be considered and the reasons why they wouldn't be considered as citizens. The Owens Valley, Paihanadu, is the place of our creation. Two brothers, Unup and Isha, were on a tall mountain. The world was flooded, and together they ended up creating the world, in our view. So we don't have subscribed to the land bridge theory. I don't go by that. I don't go by any other means and ways of how our folks got there. This story was passed down generationally before contact with settlers. So then there's no way that, in my opinion or knowledge, that our people could have known that the world was flooded unless somebody came to tell them. And so we have stories, of how our people were created. It's a continual argument with archaeologists because they want to argue about how long we've been there, and we're telling them that this is our story and our belief, and then there's no room for argument after that. So contact with settlers began in 1850s. This dramatically reshaped the way that we had to live. It destroyed our agriculture way of life. Then it also impacted many different things which I'm intimately involved with, such as cremations and the way we were able to bury our people. And so that significantly impacts the way that I do my work as a historical preservation officer, because many people think that we don't use the land or that we never used it, actively after contact. And so it changed the way that we had to live. Camp Independence was established by the cavalry on 4 July 1862 to help settle disputes. By 11 July 1863, a 4-town forced march took place where over 1,000 of our people were promised blankets and a great feast. And then instead, on the 11th of July, over the next 11 days, over 1,000 of our people were marched from our valley, from the middle of what I showed you as Paihanadu to Bakersfield. Pretty sure everybody kind of knows where Bakersfield's at. Okay, that's a brutal march during the summer. And then there was several massacres that occurred along the way. And I'll spare you the details. And then Executive Order 2264 on 28 October 1915 basically says that Camp Independence is abandoned by the cavalry, and then they set that land and additional land, and that's where they gave a place for our people to live. What do I do as a tribal historical preservation officer? I develop relationships on a local, state, and federal level. We have a nomination to protect Owens Lake, which is Patsiata, at the Federal Keeper's Office in Washington, D.C. currently. I work with the leaders at Nellis Air Force Base to help co-manage the 2.9 million acres in the Tonopah Test Range. And then I also help all the way down to California State Department of Transportation understand better how to construct highways through the use of tribal monitors, helping them understand the landscape and how our culture has been impacted and changed since contact with settlers. That's through consultation work. And then museums and collections, I have to understand everything that's been removed from my valley: baskets, arrowheads, clacking sticks, human remains. I have to understand how all of that has happened, basically since people came in, looters and otherwise, where those collections are at, how they're managed, where those collections are at, and how to interact with them, and then hopefully bring them back home. It's a big, big challenge. Field surveys include me to sometimes, since I live locally in Las Vegas, to drive 4 hours one way just to go out and spend 8 hours on the land, to walk it, to understand it, to look at it, pray to it, speak to it, understand what it's trying to tell me, and then I can translate that and then help agencies better understand the nature of their projects, what they're going to be doing out there for construction, maintenance, or otherwise. Education keeps me busy. I do educational events at the public level, tribal level, and with different agencies. Continuing on scope of work, repatriation. NAGPRA, National Graves and Native American Graves Repatriation Act. One of the things I just recently did, so Viola Maroney was sent to a Sherman boarding school in the 1930s. Some of her hair was taken as clippings when she was a student there. She didn't know about it. Her hair samples ended up at the Peabody Museum in Harvard. And it was in the last year and a half, I just finally worked to return the hair clippings to her daughter, Vianne, last week. And that's just one of the activities that I do. Also to bring ancestral remains from museums and any funerary objects, personal belongings, and bring them back home. Anybody that's aware of the military and what we do with bringing home fallen troops and soldiers, I can translate to exactly as that. We're bringing home our dead. and so then, or their belongings. And that's a level of work that really I got prepared to do in the Air Force. Fortunately, I think some of my trauma and things that I've been around have helped me prepared for that. Correcting history, I do this mostly with archaeologists and also helping understand and provide analogies of what our people go through, what our people are about. I'm a keeper of knowledge. I'm looking at language restoration, definitely public speaking. I also am into photography and trying to figure out how to bring our heritage to the public that will never see some of the things that we've ever, you can't always go to the museum, but how do we do art appreciation? So I'm looking at how to transform the world and give insight to our culture through expression of art. That's new to me because I really get a chance to do that in the military. This particular piece here is eagle feathers that were bound by, so the binding is flour cloth or sackcloth from flour that was given to our people as rations. And so then they refashioned even to the sackcloth to fashion together the eagle feathers. And so this one might be used for blessings. So I'm still looking for a title to title this one. Every time I look at it, I still think that the word strength or freedom somehow speaks to me. Lastly, my great-great-grandfather, George Robinson, in some of my research, I found actually that Burton Fraser is the person that took this photograph on the May 1st, 1931. And so then that's some of the research that I do. His war dance regalia is on display at the Eastern Sierra Museum in California, where I do a lot of my research, but also work with the museum administrator. And she helps me put my history in perspective by giving me different items to look at from time to time. And she also gives me a chance to take the items out, smudge them with sage, interact with them, and let them know that I'm still here and that they're not lost and forgotten. So this gives me a chance to learn about my history, culture, translate that, and get my local community excited about it. Let's talk. Any questions? Yes.
Hi. Indeed. Hi, I was just wondering, are the Paiutes related to the Shoshone? Because I grew up in Santa Fe, and that's what we were taught.
Yes, we're all family members, Shoshone. So in my valley, we list reservations as Paiute Shoshone. And so then Shoshones would be very close. The language and the customs would be very similar to that. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for speaking today. I'm very passionate about the environment, and I was just on my Instagram feed, a lot of things come up, especially with indigenous people or whatnot, going into really nature. They don't have TVs, they don't have anything like that. Basically, they feel what's happening with our planet just from going into nature and listening, like what you said, for hours and just come back and they tell us kind of what's going on. Can you just maybe talk a little bit about maybe what's going on here in Las Vegas and how we can respect the land but still save it at the same way, respecting culture, respecting the land that was here that we've been given to basically live on, how you can come together and kind of do both, respect and still save it at the same time.
I'll give a quick one to locally here and then one to an example that we're working on in California. So the really hard thing is that tribes are not against, and again, I don't speak for any particular tribe or the viewpoint, but in general, tribes are not against green energy or ways of doing, getting towards zero emissions. It's a great goal for society to have. The really hard part is that solar panels are an exciting, well, just take solar panels, for instance. They're really exciting because they offer us a way to, harness natural energy. The problem is that when we go out with that, it impacts, there's so many environmental impacts. It's hard to, in one instance, say that's not the right technology maybe now, or maybe there's a better way we should be approaching it. But what we're trying to do is, especially me in my valley, is look at the 100-year and 500-year impact. So I've never been a great visionary. I want to know how to be a visionary, but one of those, I think the best way to do it is what does it look like 100 and 500 years after? So then the solar panels, after they're done with their life, are they going to be abandoned as dead cells and battery cells that continually litter the desert? Where do they go? How do we dispose of them? So there's a lot of great technology. I was just in a call the other day with advanced nuclear reactors. And so that's kind of my scope. I've got to know from basically moths and ants and how the interaction goes all the way to advanced nuclear reactors. And on that one, the question is cradle to grave. Are we looking at the way to dispose and manage of the waste as we go through, and we're not just busy consuming, producing for today, but what is really the impact down the road? The other one is a 58,000 acre forest in California. So we're, now I was just on a call before I came in trying to advocate for the reason why tribal monitors need to be in the forest itself. You're trying to protect a society from being potentially burnt down from a catastrophic fire. You're also trying to protect the forest from being lost. How do we restore the forest? Because it hasn't been managed culturally for 150, 160 years. That's not our fault. But how do we get to a place where we can start managing the environment culturally while still providing a really nice place for our people to enjoy and recreate, and then also restore it to a way that natives can interact with it and share that still. Hopefully it does it. Okay.
Hi, thank you for being here. I have a quick question going back to where you said that a hair was removed? Hair was removed for somebody? Why would they do that? What was the reason?
So George Woodbury, I believe that's his name, he wanted to take hair sample. He took hair samples from Native Americans across different federal boarding schools. And what he was trying to do, in my understanding, is prove the land bridge theory by studying hair samples from around the world. I think he was on to what he was probably thinking early genetics. But when he died, his research died with him, and so they didn't know what to do with hair clippings, and they ended up at Peabody Museum. But yeah, it's the type of, that really feeds into the idea that through, most people don't know, but through the 1850s up through early, like 1920s, for instance, if 1870 my daughter had died, there was an opportunity for someone to go dig up my daughter, maybe take her head or her body, and then sell it to the museum for like 5 gold pieces, $5 worth of gold. And so I'm sorry that sounds shocking to you, but I deal with that on a daily. And so then that's because we were looked at as subhuman, as many cultures are, as a subspecies. They were trying to do a bunch of research on us instead of just, hey, what are you guys about? Hello, how are you doing? tell me about your history. Can I learn about you and be friends? But it didn't go that way. But now that's what we're moving towards. But there's still a lot of stuff that we've got to work about history. And it's not, we don't want it erased from history because we just want an acknowledgement that it happened, and then how can we make things different going forward? Yes.
Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, of course.
My late husband was Blackfeet Indian, and the discussion we had regularly with our children pertains to the lineage that you were talking about. And when those last members that are numbered pass away, that land, you're in a self-extinct place. That land converts back to where? And is any of it protected based on burial aspects?
Yeah, so the exterior boundaries of my reservation are essentially I'm within almost like a 2 square mile area. And that's something that we face. So then as our tribal numbers dwindle, it could be possible that our tribe is looking at 20 to 30 people, maybe presumably in another 60, 80 years. So extinction is, potential, words to use. We don't look at ourselves as that way. We're still thriving even though our original role was 65. But really, at some point, if we hold to the current constitution, the way we've organized ourselves, certainly that starts to dwindle. And so then this is the ultimate idea, was that the government still had ideas to basically eliminate us. And we're still here. We're still trying to figure things out, but not to be mean, the cavalry, the government already came to our rescue, and we weren't really rescued. So it's on us to figure it out. And that's why some people want to poke at gaming or things like that. But when you need a way to provide for your people, you are looking at economic development. And so then it's easy to poke at tribes when they want to do economic development, or kind of like, people say new rich, but they really have to understand what are they trying to do. And if the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, rolls up the carpet tomorrow and they kind of wash their hands, of us, then if we're not already providing for our people, then they'll have to leave the reservations or the areas that are home and just keep assimilating. And so that makes it very difficult. Arguably, you can't have culture or community without people.
So I had a maternal grandmother many generations removed that was on the Dawes Rolls and ultimately was on the Trail of Tears. but so I'm very, very, very watered down. And as a fan of the current world champion Kansas City Chiefs, we always hear all types of things. A guy that is obviously not nearly as watered down as myself, in your personal experience, what is the general thought process about these name changes and stuff in sports, and what is your thought process on removing the Braves and the Chiefs and these types of things? Do you think that's highly offensive, and what's the general consensus among people that are in the current generation?
No, it's a very relevant topic. So I have different kind of thoughts and philosophies on it. One thing is, there's a lot of organizational pride. If they're not tearing down the folks that some of them were done in a mean way. Some of the people just didn't know any better when they were naming organizations or doing things. So I think there's a cultural appropriation, I think, is what the terminology is toward this. So it's I'm not really upset personally, because if it's not offensive towards me, but I'm not, again, speaking for any other tribe. So if culturally around there they're not being recognized, they're not doing land acknowledgments, maybe these organizations work with the local tribe and say, hey, we would really like this name. Can we turn it to honor it and do something good with it? Can we partner with you? Can we help do some kind of work with you, to help promote your culture? We want to integrate this and make it part of us. I think in those ways, those gaps, could be bridged and kind of keep those names. I think if it's done in the right way, and that's where the Native Americans, a lot of the message comes through. If we're doing things with the right way and the right heart and spirit, we know that we need roads. We know that we need, people are going to keep building homes. Let's just make sure that's built on a really good foundation, and not something that people regret. And they're really proud of something, but then they look, it was built on, foundations with cracks. So if it's time to go back and repair the cracks and kind of shore up the foundation, then personally I don't kind of see the problems with that. The other thing that I would like to say, though, is that I spoke at the Society for California Archaeologists down in Riverside last week, and what I was trying to do is tell the archaeologists there that I really don't appreciate, though, the labels of hunter or gatherer and the way that we're looked at as prehistoric. Just quickly, we're not prehistoric. We know our history, and we know it. It's important for us to tell our story. And then the hunter-gatherer thing doesn't apply any more than anybody today who's a hunter-gatherer. Does anybody go to the grocery store? Okay. Then we're all hunter-gatherers. But how tragic is it to say that everybody's lumped together as you're, somewhere in here is a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate agent, a teacher. So then all of a sudden I could just lump everybody and say everybody's the same. And so then that very diminishes our culture. We had scientists. We have scientists. We had our folks were philosophers, scientists, astronomers, botanists. We just didn't have the degrees and the specific things to go with it. So when archaeologists and people pretend to start telling America about who we were, it's very important for us or for folks to go ask, hey, tell us about your society. My great-grandmother was a recognized basket weaver in our valley, but it'd be really terrible just to say that she was just a sedentary person. And so then, she was highly skilled in her craft. And so that would be to come in here and say, really highly skilled person's just a housekeeper, or they just live in their house. So please consider those terms, too, when we're also talking about the cultural affiliation.
Sean, good to see you again.
Yes.
Appreciate the advice and took it to heart the last time that we met. So I appreciate that. Recognizing that oftentimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions, our Rotary Club was founded in 1923. Not William Park, but John S. Park was one of our founding members. His son, and both of them, actually were one of those early folks here in the valley that collected and then eventually moved everything up to the Lost City Museum in Moapa Valley. What's the current status of that? Are all of those things going to be returned? Where are they going to go? Do you know the status of the Lost City Museum and where that went? And recognizing we weren't culpable for what happened in 1923, but needless to say, we kind of have a part of that because it was William Park, Dr. William Park, who really spent the rest of his life collecting all those things and trying to do what he thought was the right thing by allowing people to come and see the history that was here.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go up to the Lost Museum. We were invited to come up there and do some cultural stuff after a meeting at Nellis Air Force Base. But so I can't speak directly on that one, but I can speak on the other problems that we have. For instance, I just went to a museum yesterday or last week in Riverside, and so this is very common. When you have ancestral remains that have been collected over the periods of time, if they don't have a point of origin, if they don't have an original record, if they don't know tribal affiliation or somebody to speak for them directly, unfortunately what's going to happen with the belongings and the ancestral remains is they will probably remain at that museum, unfortunately, for the rest of time. And the reason is because if I knew that there was 5 ancestors that needed to come back home to me, but I didn't have specifically space to put them in, land, I'm not just going to put them in a cemetery or, it's very hard. I'm already limited on land, so unless I have a place to bring them, an honorable way to do that, we don't have ceremonies for reburials. So then, and if you don't have someone who also has the time, money, and resources to bring those, items, belongings back home, then unfortunately they'll probably likely remain in a museum for the rest of eternity. And so this causes a bigger problem going forward, and that's what comes under to NAGPRA and the problem with collections and curation. So we always advise people to never take anything off of the land because they'll probably end up having it, maybe regret taking it. What do? I take it to a museum, I can't donate it, they won't take it, doesn't have a point of origin, it doesn't have a frame of reference or context for them. So sadly, a lot of our stuff ends up in the trash. Because museums don't have the funding to take it. Nobody knows, great-great-grandfather collected all of this stuff, and it's in their garage. They find it, they don't know what to do with it. And so then collections, curations causes a huge problem for me, tribally, and our people, because it comes up trash. So I think I'm done with questions, but, yeah.
Can it be a short question, a short answer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Past President Randy.
I'll try to be brief.
Short question.
Yes.
Short like me.
You mentioned wild horses. I was going to ask you how to solve that problem, but that's what they say in the papers, it's a problem. I'm interested in your viewpoint on the wild horses.
Yeah, it's tough because I heard that people want to round up, wild burros and horses, and so it's a problem, I guess, as long as the landscape can sustain, the animals, and they're not interfering. I think it's a good place for them to be. Sometimes there's a need to, manage it so that they have resources. Obviously, you don't want animals out there, competing over resources. At the point it's a detriment to them. So then, like I said, if things are done in a good way, and then maybe even have somebody out there and tell the horses, explain what's going on. So I've been on sheep capture releases, when we've captured bighorn sheep, and so then I've been out there to speak with the animals and help them, transition and talk to them. So people think we're crazy, but I'll ask real quick, does anybody have a cat or a dog? Yeah. Do you talk to them? Okay, then it's not crazy for us to talk to animals either. Yeah. No, I want to make sure we're on time.
I definitely need some height. Lord knows. Okay. Sean, thank you so much for your time. It was an interesting topic, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us and to present on the very important issues. In appreciation for your time, we would like to present you with our centennial book representing 100 years of the Las Vegas Rotary Club. And in addition, where did it go? Is anything attached? Sean? There's one more thing that
So we got a picture with the.
we can do a picture in the meantime, and I'm going to stand on this because I got to get close. There is somewhere. Don't know where it is.
I didn't see papers when I
Okay, no problem. We're going to just keep trying to figure it out. Well, what it is there was a donation made in your name to the, to the USO Family Support Program, and we like to appreciate and thank you for that. So thank you so much.
Can I just say one last thing?
Of course you may.
Yes. Yeah, so I am available for additional public speaking, personal conversations through Tony and through Susan. Other people, you can go ahead and get a hold of me. Again, I won't be able to speak directly for the local tribes, even though I work with them. But and I also want to make sure I don't characterize any other culture specifically. This is mine, specifically to me, my story. And so I just want to make sure that I'm not generalizing this for any other tribe and being very respectful. As that it would be their stories to tell, their insight, and their journey is going to be much different than mine. So please keep that in mind, that I don't speak for anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. And here is the Salute to Service Award, so that you have representation and proof. So thank you again for your time and for being here with us. And we are at about that time. In keeping with the theme of our RI president, Gordon McAnally, to create hope in the world, and as American anthropologist Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And with that, I say goodbye. Thank you for joining us today. Meeting adjourned.